guys, today I wanted to do this dramatic fall makeup tutorial. I don't really put like a fall makeup tutorial up yet. I mean, I did have like that olive green one, and I feel like it's kind of getting too late to do fall makeup tutorials, so I wanted to get this one up. It is a little bit dramatic, but if you don't want to wear like a bold lip and really dramatic eyes, you don't have to. You can wear like a nude lip. But I've been wanting to do like a really dramatic fall makeup tutorial for a while, so I thought I would do like really dramatic eyes and a bold lip. So if you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. I pinned back my hair just for the video so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm taking Scotch tape and I'm putting it on the back of my hand first so it's not as sticky when I take it off my face. And the way I do it is I place one end of the tape by my lower lash line and the other end to the end of my brow, kind of. A good way to tell is if you can't take a pencil brush to blend out your lower lash line, then the tape is usually too close to your eyes, so you'd want to move it down a little bit. And then I'm priming my eyes using soft ochre paint pot from MAC. You could prime your eyes before you put the tape on, which would probably be easier, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time. And I'm using a brush from Stila. It's like a dual-ended brush, and I'm using the bigger end to prime my eyes and then the smaller one for my lower lash line. Then the first eyeshadow I'm using is Kid from MAC. I'm using this as my transition shade, so I'm just putting it back and forth through my crease, and I'm also blending it to that outer corner against that tape. And then I'm taking Wedge and Copperplate, I'm mixing them together. These are also from MAC, and I'm applying it in the outer corner of my eye. And then when there's not much product left on the brush, I'm blending it up into my crease. You want to make sure you're really using that tape. You want to bring your brush all the way back onto the tape when you're blending, because that's what's going to give you that really sharp edge when you're done. Now I'm going in with Smoke eyeshadow from Anastasia. It looks like a dark brown on camera, but it's actually like a super dark brownish gray color, and I'm using a pencil brush, and I'm starting out against the tape, and then I'm dragging it straight down onto the outer corner of my lid, kind of where I would put my eyeliner, and then I'm bringing it up into my crease. So basically I'm like filling in the outer V of my eye, and then I'm blending it inward so there's no harsh lines. It's kind of hard to explain, that's why I'm showing you up close. And then I'm going into the Sigma E25 brush, and I'm blending it all out onto the tape and then up into my crease. I'm taking Typographic eyeshadow from MAC. It kind of looks like a black, but it's actually a really dark gray. You can just use a black if you want, and I'm using an angled liner brush to draw a line from the tape onto my lid. Basically what I did with a pencil brush, this is just going to be more precise, and I bring it up into my crease, but I'm not putting it directly into my crease. I'm putting it like right on the bone above the crease, which you'll be able to feel, and that's what will look best with your eye shape. I went back in with my pencil brush just to blend out Typographic into the other grays I applied, just that all the colors will blend from darkest to lightest. And then I'm taking the Too Faced Shadow Insurance glitter glue, and I'm applying it with my fingers onto the other half of my lid. I'm doing one eye at a time because this does dry pretty quick. And then I'm taking Metal eyeshadow from Anastasia, and I'm putting it over top of that glitter glue. This eyeshadow is so pretty. It's extremely glittery. It's like a silver eyeshadow, but it's not true silver. It's got like a gold tint to it, and you can really see the gold in it next to these cool tone eyeshadows I'm using. It's like amazing. It works so good with this glitter glue. Any loose pigments or glitters or just any really sparkly glittery eyeshadows you have will stick so much better with a glitter glue, and you won't have any fallout. I took my pencil brush again just to blend everything together. If you want to take that Wedge eyeshadow again and put it in between that Metal and Smoke eyeshadow, that will help it fade better into the darker gray on your outer corner, and it will help it look blended just so there's no harsh lines between the two colors. Now that my eyeshadow is done, I'm going to remove the tape. If the edge is a little bit too sharp or too high up, you can easily fix it with a Q-tip and some makeup remover or moisturizer. And then I'm going to prep my lashes for falsies. I'm applying a few coats of mascara. This mascara is from Lancome. Then after I applied my lashes, I curled them to bind my real ones to my fake ones just to help make them look a little bit more natural. Onto my face now, I'm using the Smashbox Primer. This is like the regular one. They have tons of primers for different needs. This one is just going to make my foundation last longer and make it matte. And in the fall, I usually lean towards more mattifying primers and foundations. And then for foundation, I'm using the new Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation stick. I'm doing sections at a time, and I'm applying it right from the tube, and then I'm blending it out with the Sigma F80 foundation brush. Then I'm doing concealer. I'm using the MAC Prolong Wear Concealer, and I'm applying it with a regular concealer brush, and then blending it out with my damp beauty blender. You want to make sure when you're using your beauty blender it is damp. And my concealer looks a little bit too light, so I'm also applying some down the bridge of my nose, my chin, and my forehead. I think doing this really balances out your highlight if your concealer is a little bit too light, just so it doesn't look like too much with your under eye highlight. To set my concealer, I'm using the Anastasia banana powder. It's important to set your under eye concealer with a powder so it doesn't crease. And I'm also putting that powder everywhere else I applied that concealer on my face, just because it is a liquid and I don't want it to move throughout the day. Then to contour, I'm using a bronzer from Girlactik, and the bronzer looks a little bit orange on camera when it's on my face, but in person it doesn't look like that at all. And I'm going in with the brush I used to set my concealer just to blend around my contour. I'm not adding any more powder, I'm just using what's left on the brush. And you don't want to use the orange bronzer to contour with, because instead of looking like a shadow, it will just look muddy. Use a cool tone bronzer with a little bit of grain that's like 2 shades darker than your skin tone, and just keep your more oranger bronzers for days you just want to bronze or warm up your face. And I'm using the NARS Ita brush to contour with, just in case you're wondering. And then I'm taking a translucent powder from MAC. I'm using the Sigma 3D Kabuki brush for this. I just used to use a regular contour brush from Zoeva, kind of like the NARS Ita one, but after trying this one from Sigma, I like it a lot more. So I'm putting it right underneath my bronzer, and I'm going to do my blush. This will help if there's any fallout from the blush, because the blushes from TheBalm are kind of powdery, so if it falls down on my face, having that translucent powder will just take it right off once I clean it up after. And I'm applying the blush to the apples of my cheeks, and I'm taking my Zoeva contour brush just to wipe away that powder. Then I'm doing my brows, which I'm going to skip through pretty fast because it takes me a little longer to do them. But first I'm using a brow powder to fill them in lightly, and then I'm brushing them out with a spoolie, which will help blend out the powder a little bit. And I'm taking a brow pencil to draw the shape I want, and then I'm going to fill in the arch and the tail a little bit more. And then I take a clear brow gel, which is from Anastasia. Same with the brow powder and the brow wiz. All the brow products I use today are from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Then when I'm done my brows, I'm going to be moving on to my lower lash line, and the first eyeshadow I'm using is Smoke, and I'm taking that on a little smudge brush, and then I'm putting it all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner and then blending it out. And then I'm using a brow brush, or maybe it's for eyeliner, I'm not sure, but it's just an angled brush, and I'm using it with a black eyeshadow to define my lower lash line a little bit. I'm putting the majority of it on the outer corner, I'm not really bringing it to the inner corner, and then I'm taking a clean, fluffy eyeshadow brush to smoke it out. You can leave your lower lash line blank if you want, but I usually always smoke it out because it really helps open up your eyes, whereas leaving it blank can kind of make your eyes look squinted and a little bit small. And then I just added some mascara. For my lips, I'm taking this lip liner from Bite Beauty. It looks a little bit more red on camera than it actually is. It's more of a purple. By the way, I'll have the name of everything I use in the description bar. So I'm just lining my lips, and then I'm filling them in completely. And then I'm taking Wicked liquid lipstick from Lime Crime, and I'm just putting it right over top of that lip liner. To highlight my brow bone, I'm taking Nylon eyeshadow from MAC. I love highlighting my brow bone. It just helps make your brows look higher and just gives the eyes more depth because the light reflects under the brow. You can just add the highlight to the arch of your brow if you want, but I always just put it underneath my whole brow. This part's totally optional, but I just wanted to add a little bit warmth to the crease of my eye, so I'm taking Morocco eyeshadow from Anastasia, and I'm just swooping it back and forth through my crease. I'm putting it in my upper crease. I'm not putting it like directly in my actual crease. I'm just putting it right above the grays with the fluffy brush, and I'm also putting that on my lower lash line as well, right underneath the grays. And then I'm going to set my face using the Smashbox Primer water, and this is the final look. I'm sorry this video is going up so late. I actually wanted to get this fall makeup tutorial up about 2 weeks ago, but I couldn't get around to it till now. So I hope you guys like this, and I will see you in my next video.